I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, April the 24th. I know a lot of you guys tune in for the big bell ringer feeder cattle sales that I give, the individual quotes towards the end of the report. Tell you where some of the highest cattle were quoted around the nation. But don't misunderstand me. I like to give those bell ringer prices out there too, and I'm all about the genetics and raising them right and all that thing. But the true market is found in long strings of commodity cattle. And when it comes to that, Joplin Regional Stockyards does not mess around. And they did not mess around on Monday. They sold probably the longest string of cattle that I've seen for a long time, if ever bigger than that, and probably the longest one ever will see. But on Monday at Joplin Regional Stockyards, they had a string of 895 head of steers selling one whack. Now that's quite a deal there. I tell you what, if you want to know what a yearling steer just short of 9, what a commodity price on that steer is, they established it there at Joplin Regional Stockyards, and they sold those cattle, and just cattle. And I've told you about that before in Joplin. They're just selling a commodity there. They're not giving out any blue ribbons. They were just cattle. They had a colored up set of cattle there, had a few plain ones on them, had a few painted cattle on them. A lot of your guys in the northern plains might curl their nose up a little bit at them, but I'm telling you what, they're cattle, they're thrifty, they will gain weight, they will get fat, and they will slaughter, and they will fill space in a meat shelf. But kind of medium flesh there. But 895 of them went through. They weighed 883 pounds on the average, bring $130. It took 30 weighings to get all those cattle through there, and they've got a huge ring at Joplin. But that is really something for an on-site sale to have a string of cattle that long. Normally when you hear a big string of cattle like that, and there's not many guys got a big enough place to run that many cattle, or got a big enough pocketbook or a line of credit to handle that many cattle. But they did it there, and when you do see them though, a lot of times they're on some kind of a video or board sale or something like that. But we're talking old school, bring the cattle in. And Joplin's not the kind of place that's going to sort them 18 different ways and color them up and this and that and everything. They know that you're going to establish a market on those cattle, and that's where the value in those cattle is there was that many of them, not all one raising, put together cattle. They've been together for a long time though, been dry wintered, not getting much supplemental feed there. Those cattle will perform in there. And for you guys that are not a big fan of just commodity type cattle, they ran those cattle through the ring. No one stopped the sale to find out what the genetics on them were. There was 18 different colors of cattle there. Nobody stopped the sale to find out when the oldest calf's birthday was. They announced they had one round of shot since this past owner had them, and the way they went. And that's the way most of the business is done. I know that we, here at DV Auction, we sell high dollar bulls and the best genetics they have every weekend, almost year round, but especially seasonally. I'm all about that, raising the best cattle you can, but still you can't deny economies of scale and running big strings of cattle through. Let's look at the board on Monday. June live cattle futures up $1.15 to end the day at 104.87. April spot took off running again, trying to chase down your cash trade, and it exactly did that. It was up $2.37 and ended the day within 1 penny of the weighted average in the 5 area feeding region for last week's fat cattle trade at 121.72. Your August fats gained some ground at up $1.27 at 105.07. May feeder cattle up 127 to end the day at 140.60. April up $1.72. and August was up $2.62. So that nice neutral, friendly side of neutral cattle on feed report, the higher fat cattle trade that we saw last week, the improved weather around, the scatterings of rain we had in the southern plains, parts of western Oklahoma, even the Texas Panhandle got some rain, not a lot, but quarter-inch at least in a lot of spaces. But things just pretty good going into this week. And if you listen to my conversation here for the weekend, I told you guys this would be a good week to sell some cattle, to do some business while everything's still ginning and everything's working in the cattleman's favor. But your weighted average on last week's fat cattle trade on a huge movement of 121,100 head. Your weighted average on live steers, 121.71, up $2.22. Dressed steers, 191.84, up 187. So your practical market top in the southern plains is 122. In the northern plains, it's 124 and 195 on a dress basis. But that was a big movement. But if you compare that 121,100 to a year ago, they had 125,700. So it's the time when your packers are aggressive. We're getting ready for grilling season. They've got to get something hanging on the hooks, fill their regular orders, and have plenty of room to step it up if they need to. Something else we noticed that come out especially on social media on Monday, was France is battling this fake meat, and they're not fooling around. The French Parliament banned words such as steak, sausage, burger, fillets, any word that is normally affiliated with an animal protein product. They have banned these vegan products from using it. They had also done the same thing on dairy products. You can't come in there and use something that doesn't have real dairy in it. You can't call it milk or butter. And I just wish that it was the United States that stood up and did that. You know, a lot of those foreign countries, you know, think that all of us wear cowboy hats and 6 guns around riding a horse. But you know, it took the country of France, which you might think that would be the least likely to do that, but they did it. I wish that we would follow suit. Let's look at the feeder market on Monday. We already talked about what the market was established at on that big string in Joplin, but your real-time index on Beef Market Central, based on an 800-pound steer, set at 135.78 late on Monday, down 59 cents, but it was heavily influenced by that 900 head crack that was sold right at just under the weight barrier there. So you know, that was a lot of pressure. But Oklahoma City had a decent sale on 5,200 head at the Oklahoma National Stockyards. The market was really good. Thought they might have a few more head there, but feeders sold $1 to $4 higher. Those buyers are aggressive around there. They're used to getting the big strings around there, and all spring it's been kind of light around there. So those order buyers are getting kind of hungry, and they're diving into those cattle, and they'll take the butt chewing later. Your calves $1 to $3 higher. Like I said, had some scattered range around Oklahoma, West Texas, places that really needed it. But Joplin, they had a regular sale on top of that big string, but sold 6,700 head in Joplin. Market was mostly steady there, with some weakness on some big yearling heifers that were there, but a good sale all around. Look at an individual quote at another location there at Gainesville, Missouri, Gainesville Livestock Auction, South Central Extreme Auction there. 63 head of 847-pound steers bring $139.50. That's your feeder flash for Tuesday.